Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Addie and today we are back with another speed build. Today we are building a restaurant for the world of Forgotten Hollow, so Vampire World, and this is not how it ends up being. Don't worry. So we end up I wanted to do like a cool corridor thing, and I had a lot of dreams for this build, and it just did not work. Um, and like I was trying to base the shape off of my how I was remembering the mausoleums from The Sims 3. I actually built this before the trailer for the new pack came out, so not inspired by the graveyards, although it is inspired by a graveyard, as you will soon see. So we have one of my favorite. I actually ended up really loving how this turned out. I feel like this is such a cool build that, like, you wouldn't think, oh, that's a restaurant. Um, but it is a restaurant, and I love graveyards. Um, I have a, I wouldn't call it a fascination, but I have like I love dead things and things that remember the dead things. And it was just really fun to build this because it's sort of, I mean, it's with the vampires pack, so it's not exactly the world's most like um gorgeous thing, but it is definitely very gothic. And or at least I don't know what defines goth. Like, I know the subculture is defined by music, but I don't know what defines like gothic architecture. That's not really my thing. I am not um I don't do that. That's not my area of expertise. It, I can tell you a lot of things about Monet. I don't know anything about architecture. I can also tell you that Spain is actually has a lot of um, what do you call? Spain actually has a lot of um, Muslim architecture, but um, yeah. So anyway, that's about the extent of my knowledge in terms of architecture. I'm full of fun facts and not like actual style stuff. So I was just pretty much going through and trying to figure out what I thought looked cool. Um, and we end up having two staircases into the basement, and then we end up having two woohoo spots and the kitchen. So I don't know if the woohoo spots work, but should you desire, you can playtest them. I did not playtest them because I am not really interested in woohoo spots, but I didn't know what else to put there because we have a bathroom upstairs, so um, I didn't really feel that another set of bathrooms was necessary. Um, so we just end up having some coffins. Um, and I don't know if they function, but you can play test them should you desire. Um, and then in here, we are working on the kitchen now. So we have, um, I was gonna make like a real kitchen, and then I realized that I sort of needed the chef station. So we went in and added that, and then we will end up getting this refrigerator and like a sink and fire alarms and like all the things, all the things. There's also a thermostat down here, which is beneficial. Um, and I wanted to add a lot of like the normal kitchen stuff. So we've got a dishwasher, we've got a stand mixer, and I honestly despise how the chef stations are not equal on one side. Like on both sides, they are not equal. And I more so despise how one side is on a half tile. If it was on a full tile, it would be fine. But no, it had to be on a half tile. Um, so now we are going through and figuring out the floor plan. And this is actually really interesting. So what I end up doing is I have an entryway. So you'll see me build a wall right here. And then we have this. And then we've got the two um like sides to the so that the employees can access the uh fucking host stations. And I I honestly really like that. I feel like most of the time I just have them like in the middle of the way. Um but I didn't really want that, so I decided to not do that. And then we do have a couple of lamps or lights, and then I did scoot everything back a little bit, and we get a couple of rugs, and I chose to go with the moon ones because it's vampires. I feel like you can't go with the sun one if you have a vampire. So we have the entry. We will come back to this main area, but right now we are working on the bathroom. And the bathroom is really simple. It is just a couple of sinks or a sink, I guess, and a couple of stalls. And then we will be moving out to the actual dining space. I believe. I don't think we decorate the downstairs anymore after that. So now we are going and placing the tables. I felt like the tables, I didn't like the tables. I didn't like how they were set up. And I was using these, and I did not realize that these were bar height. So we end up using these Realm of Magic bar stools, which I honestly don't despise. I think that they're kind of pretty. Um, and then we do end up getting a fireplace instead of this table back here. And then I wanted to add in the organ. So I'm not sure where I end up putting that, but I believe it's covering one of the doors. So, because right now it's over there, but then I take it away and put the fireplace instead, and it was a little bit of a tight squeeze. So I decided to move it, and I got rid of one of the doors, and I put it in this corner over here. So your Sims can use it, and they just won't be able to access the that side. Like it just won't work that way. But your Sims can still access the other two. So it'll just always be that your Sims will go to the right side instead of the left side to check in for the table. Um, and I wanted to do this picture, but I didn't want Vlad. So I didn't love that it had like a brown frame. I wish it had more of like a black frame. I wish there were a couple of options with like the black frame. And then we're coming through and we are placing the graveyard, but this will change. So do not get attached to it. I'm messing around with it a little bit right now, and you can't really tell, but at the end of everything, we're going to be going through debug, and we are going to be um, putting in um, a bigger variety of heads of gravestones. So we've got these vampire ones that I'm placing right now, and then we will be putting in some other ones. We have got the actual tombstone, and then we'll be putting in. I'm looking at the vampires debug, so if you guys see me pull out any random things, that's all that's happening is just like looking at the debug. But I really, really love how all of this turned out. So we end up having a lot of plasma trees in on this lot, which I felt like made sense for a vampire's world restaurant, because like if you're gonna have a restaurant, I feel like you should cater to the population that you're building in. So anyway, we have that, and then I'm putting in these like six fly traps, and I really wanted something in the center. I don't remember what I end up putting over there, but it is um a lot. I think it's a fountain. And then we're getting a bunch of like different kinds of gravestones. So we have a variety. And then I do end up getting a couple of lamps, like a couple of light posts. One is fallen down and the other one is like upright. And I kind of thought that was cool. Like maybe a vampire came and or not a vampire, a werewolf came and like um tried to destroy everything, or maybe there was a fight and it knocked over the light post. I don't know. It was kind of a fun touch. Maybe it was just old. Maybe it was just old. So we have all of that, and then we are going through and we are going to be putting in the terrain paint. So we are going to be putting in some of this like dried terrain paint. I feel like if you're gonna have like a terrain, if you're gonna have like, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a graveyard, you would have like a little bit of a path. And we end up doing like a lot with the path, so it's not so ugly. 90% of the landscaping on this lot is either debug or it is terrain paint. So it's not actual landscaping. Just because I feel like when you have um like this sort of graveyard style, like um I don't know, like this graveyard style like setup, it's a lot of it would be terrain paint, just because that's all that is really there, like you're not even, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like the terrain paint was a bigger deal in this lot than like some of my other builds, just because of like how little actual landscaping there is. And then we go through and we change all of the colors, because I feel like having the like darker colors rather than the stark white actually made it feel like it blended in with the environment a little bit better, because it wasn't so bright. Um I feel like Forgotten Hollow by nature is sort of a like darker world, so there's more clouds, it rains a little bit more. Um so people don't, I don't know, I feel like the white stood out a little too much. Right now we are going through and putting in some more terrain paint, and we will be doing a lot of this. I'm not going to make you watch all of the terrain paint, don't worry, because there is a lot of terrain paint that goes into this build. But we will be doing that, and then we're going in and like saying like differentiating between like the actual grave and like just the line that I've put in there. And I feel like that all of it in of itself like makes everything feel so much more like have so much more depth. So I will so we're, yeah, like I said, we're not going to, I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing of all of my landscaping, but we, or all of the terrain paint, because that's pretty much all the landscaping. But um, we are now finishing up the landscaping. So we've gone around and put in all of the terrain paint for like the trees and everything like that. So we're just getting the terrain paint around everything. And we will be actually finishing up the build. I do want to show you what it looks like at night. So we are gonna finish up the fencing, and then I will show you that. And I think it looks really cool. So we have, I've been using these lights. They are from the Growing Together stuff pack, or expansion pack, not stuff pack. And I think they are the exact right thing. I did play around with this romantic garden stuff pack, arches and things, and then I decided to do this fountain. So I'm going to be scooting this back and sort of playing with it, but we end up with going with just the fountain. And then I was going to try to add some more, but like I said, we end up just going with the fountain, and then we do end up going with or adding in these flower box or floral arrangement type, whatever you want to call it. Um, just to sort of add a little bit more interest, and then we will be finishing up the build. I do end up adding a couple of statues over here. We add this one of the thinker, and then we add another one, this one, I don't know what it's called, but we end up adding that, and then we add that over on by the plasma trees, and that is the whole build. We're just adding some finishing touches. So if you liked this, if you would like and subscribe, that would really mean a lot, and I will see all of you on Saturday. Bye.